Before the Xia dynasty, there were only some historical records and folklore in different versions in China, which were all biased towards myths. The earliest popular legend is the legend that Pangu created the world. The order of historical periods is, the Pangu clan period, the Three Emperors period, the Five Emperors period, and then the Xia dynasty, Shang dynasty, Zhou dynasty and other dynasties. There are few records in the Pangu period and the Three Sovereigns and Five Emperors period, and they tend to be folklore. There are also relatively few archaeological discoveries and stories. We will try our best to collect information about these periods and explain them to you. From the end of the Zhou dynasty to the beginning of the Qin dynasty, with the records as more and more archaeological discoveries are made, Chinese history will become very colorful. We will introduce each wonderful story to you in detail. First, we will tell the beginning of Chinese history and culture through folk myths and some ancient book records, the myths and legends of the Pangu period. Pangu's period. 3.27 million years or maybe hundreds of millions of years ago. Ancient myths and legends, the origin of Pangu's creation of the world. It took more than 10 million years to go from ancient ape to ape-man. About 3 million years ago, ape-man appeared, marking the formal formation of human beings. This can be said to be the Pangu period. In Chinese mythology, Pangu is famous as the god who created the world. He was born in the beginning period of the mythical world and was the origin of everything. At the beginning, the heaven and earth were not divided. The world was initially just a void without any matter, and the universe was just a mass. The vitality of chaos, this natural vitality is called Hongmeng, and is shaped like an ellipsoidal giant egg. Later, a god called Pangu was born from this chaos, and he slept for 18,000 years. After Pangu woke up, his body continued to grow, but the surroundings were surrounded by chaos and darkness. Pangu opened his huge palm and chopped it, other records used an axe to chop it. With a loud noise, the egg-shaped chaos burst and emerged out, causing the chaos to separate into two different energies, clear and turbid. The lighter pure air floated upwards and became the clear sky, while the heavier turbid air descended and became the earth. Pangu was worried that the heaven and the earth would merge again, so he raised his head to the sky. He stood with his feet on the ground for a long time. About 18,000 years later, Pangu's size became larger and larger, the sky became higher and the earth became thicker. The distance was tens of thousands of miles apart. Finally, the sky and the earth were stable. And Pangu he also exhausted his divine power and fell down. After Pangu's death, everything in the world was transformed from his body parts and organs and tissues. His eyes each turned into the sun and moon, his breath turned into wind and clouds, his voice turned into thunder, and his limbs changed. Mountains and rivers have become mountains, muscles have become farmland, bones have become rocks, and blood has become rivers, lakes, and seas. The story of Pangu's creation of the world was later included in ancient books such as the Classic of Mountains and Seas, Huainanzi, and Soshan Ji, and has developed and changed. Among them, the Classic of Mountains and Seas adds the plot that a divine turtle emerged from Pangu's belly after his death and combined with Nuwa to give birth to a human being. Huainanzi adds the story that Pangu grew up every day when the world was created. 3 feet high, making the heaven and earth 3 feet apart every day. Soshan Ji added the description that Pangu had a dog accompanying him and died with him. To sum up, Pangu was born at the beginning of chaos, before Hongmeng was judged. Some people say it is about 50,000 years ago, some say it is 3.27 million years ago, and some people say it is tens of billions of years ago, which means there is no way to know. Therefore, Pangu is the founder of the world who was born from the chaotic atmosphere rotating into an egg shape, and the creator of one of the greatest myths in the history of human civilization. The Pangu era refers to the historical period before 4100 BC. The Pangu era refers to the historical period from Pangu to before the 3 emperors. Historians define it as before 4100 BC, followed by the Three Emperors era. Pangu, surnamed Ji and named Gu, was the first male recorded in Chinese history, and his wife was Our Lady of Taiyuan. He is revered by Taoists as God, Yuanshi Tianzuan, or Primordial Lord. The reason why he is respected as a god is because there is no man older than him. He is the first flesh and blood figure in Chinese history and even the history of the world. He has been bred from generation to generation and is still worshipped in large temples to this day. Even young children know that he is called Great God Pangu when they see his image. In some old genealogies, it is recorded that Pangu, married to the Holy Mother of Taiyuan, gave birth to Yu Chao, i.e., Yu Chao clan. There is the Chao family, married to the Xianyi family, and the Suiren family. The Suiren clan was married to the Huashu clan, i.e., the Yanzi clan, and gave birth to Fushi. Fushi, known as Taihao in history, was married to Nuwa and gave birth to Xiaodian. Xiaodian, married to Nv Deng, also known as Renzi, gave birth to Emperor Yan, and married to Fu Bao, gave birth to Emperor Huan. Therefore, in Chinese culture, Pangu is the origin of everything. When historical figures in film and television dramas prepare heroic speeches, they often use this opening line: "Since Pangu created the sky, the 3 emperors established the country, and the 5 emperors established the territory. All countries have encountered great events." To solemnly emphasize what it means from ancient times to the present. So with the creation of Pangu, there was Chinese culture.